Hey everyone, it's Will, and today we're in the greenhouse talking about watering, because as we get into summer, not only do you get thirsty, but your plants are too. So we're going to give you some basics to make sure that you can keep your plants looking happy and healthy and hydrated this summer. Alright, so I've got my watering can. I'm assuming that most of you are going to be watering with one too. And the first thing I like to do is get rid of the little spout on the end, because the first tip is to water the roots and not on the leaves. So getting rid of this allows you to get the water directly into the bottom. If you are a total green thumb like we are here at Heeman, sometimes your containers get so big that you can't see the soil, so it's almost impossible to bypass all the leaves. So in that case, what you want to do is, I always like to take the end off of these and bypass that and get into the canopy as best you can. You will know that the pot is going to be generally in the center, and so long as you get the water into the middle so it's not broadcasting on top of leaves and spilling over the side, and it gets into the middle, then you're doing a good job. So the next tip is, the best time to water is going to be in the morning. That is going to be the time where you're going to be able to get the water in there. It's going to go into the day hydrated, and then it's going to allow for the sun to burn off any of the excess water through the day. The next best time is in the evening time, and the third best time is basically when it's like 911, holy cow, then just water it whenever you need to. So what we want to do is, we're going to get the water right into the roots and not onto the leaves. This is going to be helpful because it's going to be more efficient and it's going to get right in there. What I like to do is, I like to water it, and when it's pooling like you saw before, wait for it to go away, and then we give it a water again. It's going to pool like that. Wait 1, 2, 3, and it should be draining. You can see that it starts to drain slower and slower, and that means that it's nice and saturated. And when you start to see it take a little bit of time to actually get in there, then you know that you don't need to give it any more water. Have you ever had anyone tell you, don't water in the afternoon? The reason why it's best not to is because when you leave water droplets on the leaves like this during the middle of the hot sunny days, these little droplets turn into magnifying glasses, intensify the light, and can lead to burning of the leaves. That's a fun thing we call phototoxicity, and it's to be avoided. So sometimes you make so many versions of the video that the pot gets so wet that it's just like this. And if you see the water coming out the bottom like that, then you definitely know that it doesn't need any more. If it feels really heavy, then you also know that it's good and wet and you don't need to do it anymore. Sometimes we forget, it gets really hot, and we come home and we see a plant that is in SOS, needs water right away. And in that case, it doesn't matter what time of the day is, you go grab the watering can and you water it right away. When you do that, don't be surprised if the soil has dried out so much that, just like an old sponge, it just pees out the bottom. So if you come home and you see that there's a gap between the edge of your container and the soil inside of it, then you know that the soil has lost its charge, like a sponge that hasn't been used in a long time, and it needs to be recharged. And in that case, you're going to reach for a dish or something that you can rest it in. You can even put it in an old bathtub or bring it in. But you're going to fill the dish up with water. You're going to shoot it all over the side like that. And then you're going to put the plant in. You're going to let it soak and let the capillary action of the soil draw the water back up and recharge the soil, so it's going to be able to hold water once again nice and efficiently. So then after a little bit of time, half hour, a couple hours, depends on the size of the container, you come back and the soil will be recharged and your plant will start to bounce back. Fun fact, this will not work if you've waited like 5-6 days and your plant is like beyond wilty and it's actually dead. Then like, ain't nothing gonna bring it back. Thanks so much for watching this video on watering. We hope that it's made a simple thing a little bit more practical for you guys. If you have any questions, as always, you can send us a message or post them in the comment section below. And if you want to talk about fertilizer, go find our fertilizer video. We'll link to it and you can watch that to learn more about how to actually feed your plants while you're watering. The first tip is that we want to get the water into the roots and not onto the leaves. Think of it like when you're running a marathon and they've got the volunteers that are throwing. Aim to the middle and bypass as much of the leaves as possible. Do you know how hard it is to go around a greenhouse and find a plant that actually needs water? Like, I had to look around the place for like half an hour just to find one plant that needed water more. It was ridiculous. I'm like going all around, like, every department, I'm like, hey, do you have a plant that's like really dry? And they're like, wait, is this a test? Am I going to be fired if I say yes?